All right, we'll get started. So there's one point where we're going to be spun in one direction of the mat, and then we're going to spin around and face the other direction, which is why I have these blocks placed, one on the front and one on the back. You're welcome to do that too. But welcome, we are in a series based on the koshas, which are the layers or the sheaths or the casings of the soul. This has been written about in the Upanishads, and in the Upanishads, they are some of the ancient texts in India. So a lot of yoga actually derived from some of these ancient texts before they created what's called the Yoga Sutras, which is why we talk about it. Oftentimes this subject matter is brought up a little bit more in the yin practice, because in the yin practice, when you're holding a pose in stillness and kind of steeping in it for a period of time, then you can really pay attention to those layers. But it can apply to the active yoga as well. And this week we're on the second layer that's called pranamaya kosha. And Monday, we did a lot of different pranayama techniques. Prana that we talked about on Monday means vital life force energy. So that's the Sanskrit term for our English term energy. In Chinese medicine, they call it qi. In Japan, they call it ki. And I was mentioning things like acupuncture and Reiki, things of that nature are working with this particular layer, right? Whereas the asanas, the physical postures, are working with the first or outer layer, which is the food body or the physical structure. So there's three ways we can really drive this energy home to ourselves, and it's through breath work. That's the primary portal. A second portal is the sun. So the sun gives us light and energy and heat. That's something that our bodies are naturally absorbing. And then, of course, the food that we eat, once it's digested and processed and broken down, then the energy can fuel the body. So that's our subject matter for today. We are going to be moving in our practice, but in the flow practice, we typically do something called the Ujjayi breath. And the Ujjayi pranayama is a breath where we are constricting the back of the throat. And when we constrict the back of the throat, it almost sounds like you're whispering. Sometimes it's called the oceanic breath because it sounds like ocean waves. But if you bring your hand in front of your face and take a deep breath in, and then breathe it out with like the sound ha. That sound that you're hearing is the sound the breath should be making, although the lips are going to be closed. It is nasal breathing or nose breathing with that feel in your throat. Typically, pre-pandemic, I would walk around and be next to your ear so that you could hear me doing this breath and that you can try to mimic that breath. But I'm going to stay back today, and hopefully there's enough of you that know that breath to amplify that breath so you can actually hear it in case you don't know it. It kind of sounds like Darth Vader a little bit if you're into Star Wars. So let's go ahead and begin. We'll start off quietly so that we can listen to the sound of the breath. So sit upright, in any comfortable position. Crown of the head rising up towards the heavens. The base of the body rooting down into the earth. Close the eyes just to check in with your physical body first. Noticing if there's anything different showing up today. Then we're going to use this pranayama that is energizing and invigorating. Start to constrict the back of your throat. Breathing in. And out the nose. This is a nice go-to breath for any type of vinyasa style practices. Anytime you're doing a sun salutation, or even in like the Vini yoga style where you're moving in and out of postures with different body mechanics. It may start off sounding like a light snore. But the more you manage it, the more it begins to smooth out. You may feel a little bit more chest breathing with this breath. Let's do about 3 more. And then begin to flutter the eyelids open. We're going to go ahead and come up to stand. We're going to get right into it on Wednesdays, starting off with sun salutations. So once you come all the way to the front side of the mat, root and ground the feet, line the ankles, knees, and the frontal side of your hips. Draw up through your side body, up through your navel center, and bring the hands to prayer position at your heart. Get the chin parallel to the floor, look straight ahead with your eyes. We're going to be simple at first, so inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, lift and lengthen out halfway. And as you exhale, we're taking it back to plank and immediately dropping low to Chaturanga Dandasana. Elbows squeeze to the side body. As you inhale, elongate the vertebrae in up dog. And as you exhale, roll back over the toes to down dog. Pressurize the palms. Lengthen up and out of your wrists and shoulders. And this is where we reclaim the breath if we lost it along the way. Let the sound of the breath operate as the song of the soul. On your next in-breath, let's go ahead and bring the feet to the top of the mat, arriving halfway up upon you getting stationed here. And then exhale, let go. Inhale, coming up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to Samasthiti. We're going to do a couple more of these. Inhale, take the arms overhead, and then exhale, fold in half. Inhale, sprout up. Exhale to your Chaturanga Dandasana. Feel free to step or float back to this position. Continue through those positions until you arrive to downward facing dog, allowing the head to hang between the arms. Passing your gaze back into that space between the feet. See if you can recruit more muscles. Keeping your breath enlivened. Opening up that primary core. Your next in-breath, you can meditationally walk, lunge, or float the feet together to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow out. Inhale, root to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And another inhale, open up. Exhale, close back in. Inhale, give yourself a pick me up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, hovering, holding until you're ready to breathe in, up to a back bend. Exhale, rock and roll back. Pausing here with the neutral neck, with an amplified breath, meditating on its sound. Inhale, feet land at the top of the mat. Looking out with your eyes. And then exhale, lower it back. Inhale up to the top. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we're gonna move on to the Surya Namaskaras. So as you inhale, come to your chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold straight down. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps through to warrior one. Pausing here, spine aligning over the pelvis. Back thighs spinning around to the front. Exhale, palms down, stepping into your plank. Lowering down to Chaturanga. Breathing in and up to up dog. Breathing out to down dog. Inhale, left foot's gonna step through between the hands. Right foot's gonna power down, bringing the arms up to framing the face. Virabhadrasana 1. Front knee stays lunging. Make sure the knee is pointed towards the center of the foot. Exhale, release. Continue with the vinyasa. Moving with your breath instead of trying to be in sync with me or someone else. Let your attention be wrapped up in your breath. On your next inhale, bring the feet to land at the top. Opening the heart. Exhale, release. Inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we're gonna be moving on. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold over straight legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen out halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, that low push-up. Inhale, straighten up the arms, lengthen the neck, and exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your right foot forward. Lower your back foot down. Look down at your right foot, straighten the right leg, stack your hand on your shin, carry the left arm skyward. Holding your Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Straighten out through the vertebrae, back up with your heart. Stacking your shoulders. Bringing the energy up from the earth into the top hand. So all the energy is ascending up. Exhale, look down, lunge that front knee. Right foot plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale into up dog. Exhale into down dog. Inhale, left foot steps through. Back heel drops down. Straighten out the left leg, land the hand to the shin, carry the right arm skyward. Taking Trikonasana. Open up space for the diaphragm. Notice how quiet it is. There's hardly any breath in the room. So open up the channel of your breath. Let your neighbor hear you. Exhale, drop back into the lunge. Stepping back to your plank. Lowering to your Chaturanga. Breathing in and up to up dog. Breathing out and back to down dog. On your next inhale, let's land the feet at the top of the mat. However you want to arrive is fine. Exhale, let go. Inhale, lift up, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we're going to continue. Inhaling, Utkatasana, sitting back so you can see your toes. Exhale, fold straight down. Inhale, lift and lengthen out. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, however you want to arrive to that point. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Right foot steps through between the hands, back foot lowers down. Keep the front knee lunging. Helicopter up, warrior two. So lengthen the arms out over the legs, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the thighs rolling over. Focus on the breathing. Let the breath reign in priority, especially since we're talking about this later. Exhale, helicopter down. Take it back through the vinyasa. Once you re-arrive to downward facing dog, left foot steps through on the in breath. Exhale, lower the back foot. Keep that front knee lunging. Inhale, draw it up. Virabhadrasana 2. Gazing down the front fingertips. Noticing if you're launching forward with your waist. Try to create equanimity. Exhale, helicopter down. Take this last vinyasa for this flow. Pause here. Inhale into Ardha Uttanasana at the top. Exhale, release. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to prayer. All right, one more. Inhale into chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen out. Exhale into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, right foot steps through, back heel lowers. Right forearm to right knee. If that right hip is kind of scooting out, tuck it in. Take the left arm skyward. Glue down your back foot more. Plug the left thigh in more. Now take that top arm and spin it and reach the arm across the ear. Feel what happens from your waist up. From Parsvakonasana, gaze down, spin out of the back heel, and the palms. Right foot plank. Lowering and hovering. Building up into the back bend. And then rock and roll back. Left foot leads next. Back heel descends. Elbow residing on the knee. Carry the right arm skyward. Drill the back foot down. Stay with your breath. Reach the right arm over the ear. Good. Exhale, spin out. Hands down. Last vinyasa for now. So on Wednesdays, we're going to be doing more or less this type of flow. It's not going to be exactly the same every week, but we'll be starting off with sun salutations. Monday will be a little bit more freestyle and creative. Inhale, feet to the top. Lengthen out the vertebrae. Exhale, drop in. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to here. All right, hands to the waist, hop the feet apart. Shoulders crank back, head leans back, and then exhale, forward fold. When we forward fold, we're actually going to take the hands down and we're going to stand the feet on the palms. We bow the head. We kind of tuck the chin towards the chest as though we're trying to look towards the navel. And then attempt to try to open up the back of the knees. Remembering not to force, but you can force the breath. Listen to the song of the soul. Let our unique and individual breath combine with the others in the room to create a chorus in the room, a choir of breath. And gently remove the hands one at a time. Bring the hands to your waist, slowly draw back up to the top. Feet are going to walk back together. And then as you inhale, you're stepping to the right, turning the feet parallel to face the front door. Hands are going to come back to the waist. Your shoulders roll back, your elbows lean back. And then as you exhale, you're going to let your heart lead as you fold. Really ground your feet. The more you ground the feet, the more you're going to ignite the work through the legs. The crown of the head is attempting to face the floor. And again, keep your chest and heart open. On your next in-breath, come halfway up, crown reaching towards the door. Remove the hands from the waist, hook the peace mudra around each big toe. Roll the elbows away from your body, like they're trying to create a 90-degree angle. And then bow your head again. This is Prasarita Padottanasana. We've done two different styles here. Now inhale, lift your head and heart up. Bring the hands down below your chest. Once you bring your hands to the floor below the chest, this is when we're going to turn to face the back wall. And the hands are going to frame the foot. This is where you may want a block close by, but you don't need it quite yet. So you can either be on your fist or flat palm to go into a revolving side angle pose. You can also crank that left arm to the outside of the left knee and carry the right arm skyward. Pick one of those or something similar. Exhale, come out of the twist. Now slowly straighten out your right leg. This is where you may want a block underneath the left hand because we're still going to go into a revolving twist. Once you straighten out the right leg, determining whether you need that block, you're going to stretch out through the vertebrae and then spin open to your right. Again, you may or may not need a block. And you can be on fingertips. It doesn't have to be a flat hand. Exhale, lower the right hand down, lunge that knee. Good, walk the hands back down the side strip of the mat, turn the feet to face the front door again. And take another Prasarita Padottanasana. This time, the hands walk back. The elbows squeeze more together to create a shell for the arms, and the head is bowing towards the floor. Your weight is tipping forward with your hips so that you can feel weight below your toes. You may already be there, so don't go with the power of suggestion. Just check in. Where are you feeling that in your feet, in your alignment? Inhale, walk the hands out. Spin around to face the front side of the mat. And then again, you have the options. The palm can be flat, the left arm can sweep. You can also cross the right arm to the other side and take the left arm up and back. And there's other variations if you have another preference. Exhale, unwind the twist. Now we're going to slowly straighten out that front leg. You may or may not want a block there underneath your right hand. So straighten your left leg, even if that means coming to fingertips or a block. Square and even out the hips, lengthen out through the spine, and rotate to your left. Really get into that IT band. Breathe your way through it. Exhale, lunge the knee, bring the hand down, step the back foot forward, and fold into your Uttanasana. On your next in-breath, step back plank. Exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale back into the flow and up dog. And exhale, rolling back to downward facing dog. All right, this is where we're going to start to bring it down to a seat. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, bring that right shin to the top of the mat behind your hands for pigeon. Slide your left leg back. Good. Now walk your hands in towards your hips. See if you can push down through your shins and feet, draw up through the inner thighs, draw up through the pelvic floor, maybe even floating the arms up. So instead of gravitating down, you're actually on the rise. Upward pigeon. Exhale, hands down, and then we will surrender. Taking it as low as we want to go, where our body allows, where the breath is still open and free. A very light sounding Ujjayi breath. Even though I mentioned it's a go-to breath for flows, it doesn't mean you can't use it at other times. It's actually nice to use a softer Ujjayi breath when you're steeping in stillness. You can maintain a sense of presence. Present mind and body. As you inhale, begin to back up and affirm internally, I rise above the past and future to this eternal moment now. We're going to lean onto the right hip. And we're going to let the left leg come all the way around in front. The foot's connected to the inner thigh. The left toes are nice and splayed. You're on the center of that heel. Your arms reach up. And as you exhale, you forward fold, turning that belly button over towards your left thigh. The back of the left thigh drops. The front of the thigh contracts. Inhale, come on. We're gonna lift the right knee, flatten the foot with a few inches in between here. That way we have some room to bring the shoulder to the inside of the knee, and that arm is gonna bind by rotating and twisting around in front of that shin. Then once you have that hand in place, your left arm's gonna loosen. It will swim behind the back. You might be able to link the hands. Don't worry if you can't. We're still facing the front foot. We're lengthening the low back. And we're attempting to hinge over as much as our body allows.
Where should we be feeling the stretch?
Hamstrings. Into the shoulder. You know, I've done this pose so much, it's kind of hard for me to be back in that beginner's mindset, but it would be in the right shoulder.
Okay, yeah, I'm feeling it more there than my left.
Yeah, right shoulder, and it will depend on like how far you can hinge over, because that may be blocking you from going to the depth in your hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep that foot active and that left thigh planted, that can also exist. We've also done a lot of work up until now. You may have worked some of those kinks out. As you inhale, slowly come up, flex and float the right foot. Depending on the arms to lift it up and the hip flexor. Good, gently release. Step that foot over to the opposite side. Lift the knee and hug it in with that left arm. Now pull up through your side body, through your navel, through your heart center. Exhale, spin to the right. Right hand lands to the floor behind your back. Channel the breath. As you exhale, come out of that twist, extend your right leg. Flex both ankles, lift both arms. Exhaling, Paschimottanasana. So we're pouring down over the belly, radiating the heart out towards the feet. The gaze can be out, the gaze can be down, and then on your neck. Just remember, sometimes what feels best is our habit. And so when we come to the mat, we're trying to study what those habits are. And some of those habits can turn into a negative, like constantly looking down, right? So if you're constantly looking down at your text or your computer, you may want to look forward and out. All right, inhale, coming out of Paschimottanasana. The hands are going to glide back behind the body, and we're going to lean into the palms. We're going to step the feet back. We're going to lift to altar pose, which is tucking the tailbone, lifting thighs, hips, abdomen, chest. Let your shoulders roll back. Let your head lean back, please. And exhale, re-lower your seat, crisscross the ankles, hands come forward, you step it into plank. We lower to chaturanga. We inhale to up dog. And we exhale to downward facing dog. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, lift your left leg. Bring that shin through for pigeon. Right leg extends back. We're gonna do the upward pigeon first. So square your hips. Walk the hands in. Up to the pelvic floor, in and up through the navel, maybe elevated arms. From this upward pigeon, we're going to surrender it now. Walking it out, checking in with your body, especially that hip, knee, and ankle that you're descending towards. Neutralize your back leg. Stay committed to your breath. One way that we can invest in ourselves is through the power of the breath. Noticing if this side is more or less pliable than the other. Maybe even being in the question, who or what has you pigeonholed? Sometimes even just driving around in your car when you're having like a clearer mindset, you could ask yourself a question like that. It doesn't always have to be on the mat where you receive an answer. I asked myself that the other day while I was driving. I was shocked by the answer I got. And I was a little confused by it. And then when I posed that question, a very clear answer came to me. Let's slowly come up. So back your way up, rising above the past and future to this moment. Lean onto the left hip. We're going to swing the right leg around. Slide that left foot so it kind of connects with the inner thigh, somewhere between the knee and the pubic bone. The right foot stays flexed, arms lengthen overhead, and then exhale, slightly spin over towards the right thigh. A little bit of a minor twist in this pose. One time I was driving down Carruthers, just to give you an example, because I'm still sitting with the fresh answer I received in the car the other day. But there was an example a few years ago. I was driving down Carruthers and I was heading back to New Zealand because I lived at 12 apartments. And it was just one of those days I was frustrated with being single.
and having to make every decision alone. And I was like, just thinking to myself in the car, why am I so single? It would be really nice to be married, to be able to have someone to have these conversations with, to make these decisions with. And immediately the download came to me. I was married to my business, to the studio that I used to have. It was a big aha moment for me. I was like, whoa, that's it. I have no room for a relationship. All right, inhale, slowly come up. Sometimes you don't always like the answers you get. But when you get it, it's like, that's it, that's fine. All right, lift the knee, flatten the foot. Lengthen your left arm to the inside of your left knee. Turn that hand down, keep spinning and rotating the arm. Hook it around, and then lengthen your right arm next. Circle that arm behind the back, and it's okay if the hands don't come together at all. You're just creating the binds, you're creating the structure, and then you're attempting to fold over. And this side, you may feel it in different pockets than you did the other side. Like right now, I'm feeling it in my left hip. So I didn't feel it in my hip at all on the previous side. Inhale, slowly back up. Use the binding of the left arm to help to lift the foot. You also flex and float the foot. And then we'll release that hold so we can step the foot over. Make sure both sits bones are on the floor. Hug that knee in. Notice we shrink here when we typically hug the knee. So re-elongate the spine. Then rotate to the left. So unwind. We're lengthening the left leg beside the right. Arms reach. Exhale, fold, Paschimottanasana. So there's different hand holds for those of you that can reach your feet. One hand hold is right piece motor around the big toe. I don't necessarily prefer that one for this pose. I see a lot of you doing this one. The hands kind of wrapped around the feet this way, which is usually my preference, but I can tell a lot of you could go deeper, and there's another depth that you can take, which is lacing the hands on the other side of the soles of the feet. Yeah, can you tell it takes you deeper?
Yeah.
Some people even like to get a block here on the other side of the feet and then hold the block here. It's kind of a more of an Iyengar approach. This is more of the Ashtanga approach. Inhale, slide it back. Bend your knees. Lifting to altar or reverse table, as some call it. One more breath, give yourself an extra boost up, and exhale, slowly sink down to your seat. All right, if you have your hair pinned up right at the nape of your neck, you may want to loosen it. Let it be free so it's not annoying. We're gonna take the left leg out, and you can do one of three things. You can hold the back of your thigh, you can hold the back of your calf, or you can lace around the big toe here. So pick one of those positions. Adagustasana A in supine. Position where we're on our backs.
Activate your left leg, even though it's just kind of hanging out on the mat. If you are holding the leg with two hands, take your left hand to hold down your hip and let your right hand hold the back or the outseam of the leg. Because now we're going to abduct it away from our center and we're taking the leg off to the right side. Fire into your left leg, push down through your left thigh bone to keep the pelvis centered and aligned. Now inhale, lift the right leg up. Go into C, scoop the belly in, lift the head up towards the knee, and extend your left arm over the left thigh. Breathe. As you exhale, swap your hand position to hold the outside of the foot, bend the knee, drop it to the right side of your body like happy baby, then fly the left foot off the floor, point the toes, lightning bolts. The head lifts again, very similar to what we just did, except it's a different position for the right leg. All right, from here, bring that foot across. Now you can have one hand to the knee, one hand to the foot, or you can cradle hold it, but then slowly lower down with your left heel on the back of your head. So it's like a supine variation of pigeon. Exhale, release your hand grip. Take your left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right arm's gonna reach out shoulder height and then spin the knee across your body. Jatari Parivartanasana. Taking a supine twist. Exhale, unwind. All right, lengthen your right leg. Lift your left. Link your hands behind your thigh, behind your calf, or tag the toe. Activate your right leg that's resting on the floor. So notice the different muscle groups that are getting utilized. Maybe your hamstrings are not your restriction. Maybe your inner thighs are when you open the leg apart from the body. Where do you need more vital life force to flow through? Separate your right hand to hold down your right hip, and let's go into Padangusthasana B. Sending the leg away from yourself. Maybe it's not even your inner thigh that's your obstruction. It could be your piriformis. Could be some of the glutes that operates with the external rotators of the hip. So it's just a process of learning more about yourself. Inhale, bring the leg up. Scoop the belly in and lift. This is the C formula of the pose. And then take the outside of the foot, bend it down, happy baby. Pick up the right foot, point the toes, scoop the belly back in, lightning bolts. Bring that foot over. You can have one hand to the knee, one hand to the foot. You might be able to create the cradle hold.
And we're slowly gonna lay back. Supine variation of pigeons. And remove the hand. Right hand to the outside of that knee, left arm sweeps open, taking that spinal twist. And then unroll from the twist, hug both knees in. Apanasana. Gently turn over to one side of your body. So when you come up, we're gonna get a final inversion in. And please know that you can stop anywhere along the way. But we're gonna work with Shavasana 1, headstand 1. Let's see, Monday, is that when we did crow? Yeah, so Monday we built up to crow, and then we dropped in Shavasana to prep, and then we lifted the legs to headstand, and then we dropped back into chaturanga. It's a little bit of a fancy flow, but it's fun. Today, I think I told you Monday, that particular headstand, there's more pressure on the head. You know, this one's less pressure on the head. Okay, so I like this one better personally. I'm still gonna bring a mat and fold it in just to kind of double it a little bit. Please know you're welcome to go to a wall. I've been doing headstands for 20 years, so I don't feel like I need a wall. But please go to a wall if you need a wall. If you go to a wall, the edge of your mat will be like the baseboard, okay? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna line your arms so that they're becoming parallel. And the fingertips touch the wall. After the fingertips touch the wall, you're gonna make sure the fingers wrap around your elbows. If that's the case, you're gonna lace your hands together and open up your thumbs. We crawl forward. We take the head down. Then I would suggest making sure that you feel like you have strength. Drawing in from the belly, pushing down through the arms, and noticing how the head can lift completely away from the floor. These are required muscles for your headstand. If this is challenging for you, I want you to stop at this phase and just do this. If you can ignite those muscles enough, but where the head stays on the floor, and you can lift your knees, you're gonna walk the feet in. Maybe this is where you want to stay today. Maybe you're too scared to go up. That's all right. Hiking up, what I just did, is typically the hardest way to come up. The easier way to come up is to curl up. And then the wall, of course, if you want to use it, will support you, and you'll point your toes and let your thighs roll in together. A third way you can try is keeping one foot on the floor, letting one lift, and then bringing the other one along. Okay, so do you want to do it solo on your mat? Again, you don't have to go all the way up. But if you want to go to the wall, you guys can just go straight back. You guys in the front, you can come forward if you want, or you can just go for it. Most important thing, arm position. Arms parallel, fingers wrap around the elbows. Yeah, that's it. You see how you have to scoot them in a little bit more? Yeah. Then lace your hands and open your thumbs. Push down through your arms and ignite your triceps and deltoids and core. Place the head between the hands. Do those little push-ups there. Make sure you have the right awareness of the muscles and the strength in the muscles. And once you do that test and you're good to go, you can tuck the toes and walk the feet in. What we're doing when we walk the feet in is aligning the spine. So bend your knees, Kelsey, and then keep walking your feet in. You got it. See how you're lining up? That's beautiful. That's it. You're so busy. You're so busy. Do it again. I'm gonna block you from looking. I used to do that. It's miserable. I'm gonna be your wall. Good job. So if you come down from headstand and you feel like a real heavy weight or pressure is in your chest, it's showing you that you're not using the right muscles to lift your way up. You see what I'm saying? As a beginner of practicing headstand, that was my mistake. And I didn't know I was doing that until I went to, it used to be 12 South Iyengar. I went to a New Year's Day practice and it was a flow. It wasn't Iyengar, it was a flow practice. And then we held headstand for 25, it was either 25 breaths or 5 minutes. It was a really long time. And I just made myself stay in it, right? I was like, I got this. I was like doing like the little engine that could in my head. And then when I came down, it was like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. There was so much pressure and pain in my chest. And I realized I just wasn't doing it right. The longer I held it, the more I was letting gravity just drop me into the floor. Even though I looked like I was doing it, I wasn't using the triceps to lift. I wasn't using the deltoids to lift. I wasn't using my core to lift. I wasn't using my quads to lift. And I wasn't I was pointing my toes, but I wasn't utilizing that line of energy to lift me towards the sky. Instead, I was in it and I was just getting more and more pressure in my head to the floor. So that's why I want you to start to learn about the two lines of energy. Sometimes we'll stand for a minute and we'll really root the feet and we'll lift the arms and we're focused on the two lines of energy. You need that for things like headstand. If you can learn it from a standing position, then you'll be able to translate it and apply it when you're flipped upside down. So the pressure is down with the foundation, everything else is lifting up. Hopefully that helps. All right, now we get to relax. You got the king of asanas in. If you want to do legs up the wall, you're welcome to. If you want to grab your bolster and make a restorative position, you can. Lying down on your back. I'm going to change out the music while you're getting settled. By the way, I mentioned Reiki being one of the healing arts that's specifically geared in the second layer, the pranamaya kosha, the energetic body, because it works specifically with energy. I'm doing a training of Reiki 1 and 2 on Saturday here. And I am also doing a restorative workshop with Reiki on Sunday. Now, what I would like you to focus on for Shavasana today is just being
with your breath. It doesn't mean you have to control it anymore. You don't have to listen or create any type of sound. Instead, I just want you to monitor the breath, acknowledge the breath, witness the breath, coming and going, ebbing and flowing in its own natural pace. Thich Nhat Hanh passed away a number of weeks ago. We focused on his type of meditation. And that may be something you want to participate with now. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I know for a fact I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know for a fact I'm breathing in. Breathing in, breathing out. In, out. One of the reasons we hold stillness for the end is to be in this energetic body. After inviting all that fresh new energy in through our breath. And after opening up the energetic channels through our movements, so that we can see and allow the mind and body to integrate, carrying this energy where it needs to go. Soaking it up, just as if you were laying outside and soaking up the sun. Now wiggle the fingers and toes. Collect your knees. If you're flat on your back, you can hug them in. Feel as though you're giving yourself a hug here. Turning over to one side of your body. Coming up to take a formal seat. Joining your hands to prayer position at your heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We all walk away from this practice being free and at peace. Bodies, in our hearts, and in our minds. Thanks guys for joining me today.